And so even though we'd known for a month, we'd been talking about for a couple months of closing it down officially. No one wanted to be the one to pull the trigger. Aww. Just because it's sad to see it go, even if like we weren't actively uploading for a bit now. I can't describe to you how much stress that put myself and Jordan under for it, because it was a lot, and it obviously has opened my eyes to a lot of the business side of things that you don't necessarily think about when you're just making an event.
I know this is such a basic question,
sure,
but how does it feel owning an event of this capacity? Alright lads, welcome back to Midweek MC, the part of the podcast where I sit down with my amazing co-host, who I absolutely adore, Captain AJX. Hello AJX, I'm so glad you're here, you're absolutely amazing.
Oh, thank you, you're amazing too. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for having me yet again, Orbits. It's always an honour.
No worries, and it's not only us two, as per usual, we're also joined with an amazing guest who I'm absolutely honoured to be in the presence of because they're simply amazing. I'll let you introduce them.
We have the one, the only Joey Capollo.
Hi, that's me. I'm here to talk about Minecraft events and those other things that I do sometimes.
There you go. You also own your own company. It has LLC at the end.
It does, yes.
I learned all about stuff. I learned all about that in accounting. I can't really remember too much about it, but I learned all about like limited liability or something, right? Company? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I joked about it many times, but when I made the company, when we were making it, I didn't have a name for it. So I was like, well, it's called CapolloMedia. This won't be a big deal and it won't matter that much. And then now it looks like I'm narcissistic and named the company after myself when it was really like, I don't really know what I'm doing with this.
It might sound like a silly question, but I'm going to ask anyways. Is your full IRL name Joey Capollo?
It is not Joey nor Capollo.
Oh, what? Okay, we'll get into talking about that in a second. I don't want to jump too far ahead. Okay, no, it doesn't sound so egotistical anymore then. If it literally is not your IRL name and it's just an online persona, I think it's fine. It's not too bad.
It's not too bad. I think Capollo sounds pretty cool at least.
It does, yeah.
Way better than Orbits MC.
That's why it's not called Orbits MC.
Yeah,
it's better than being called Captain MC as well, say. There you go. Before we carry on waffling away, Joey, we always like to give the intro for you to introduce yourself. I know you kind of did it there, but like actually very, very, what's the word in here? A very professional way of doing it. Who are you? What do you do? If you have a fun fact, maybe. I mean, actually, you've already told us our fun facts, technically. So yeah, who are you? What do you do?
I'm Joey Capollo, not my real name. In the Minecraft space, I'm best known for being the owner of CapolloMedia, which has owned and does MCC The Show, Block Wars, KST, and then One Point League, and also with some other projects coming up in the space. My skills are typically around video editing, storytelling, and managing projects, and so I've helped lead a bunch of other talented people to make really cool things throughout the years.
There you go. I like that. That's a nice little way of introducing yourself.
That's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I would like the most professional we've ever had.
And you think they're good at this, right, AJ? You think they've probably been doing this for a while now? I mean, you've owned the company since 2021, so there's a lot of time to experience.
Mm-hmm.
I want to clear the air while we keep speaking here, and I do just want to say that quote retweet to the original announcement, it was a joke, okay? I saw like a few replies, and I'm like, I think everyone knew it was a joke. But I'm sorry, I was just making light of a very sad situation, okay? I should have probably ran it through you first before making a tweet, but I was like, that'll be fine.
No, it was completely fine, and that's obviously talking about the show closing down.
Yeah.
Which has been known internally for like over a month now. We've been talking about it for a while of trying to figure out ways to make it sustainable and possible again. But I think like as Ultra Sheepler put in his reply to it, of just being like, the show got really lucky with timing to exist during the pandemic when it did, when we were all at home really excited about Minecraft and MCC. And then you can only do that for so long before people want to move on to other projects or people just want to move outside the space. And that's kind of what happened. And we didn't want to let go though. It was the thing that like brought us all together in the first place, like the foundation to it all we made. And so even though we'd known for a month, we'd been talking about for a couple months of closing it down officially, no one wanted to be the one to pull the trigger.
Aww.
Just because it's sad to see it go, even if like we weren't actively uploading for a bit now. It was still sad to see it go.
Yeah, definitely. I think in terms of like from I've made all my content based off like the show and that being an inspiration. It was very sad to see it like finally end, but you know, it's inspired so many other people to do what they do now as well.
Yeah.
And obviously everyone within the show has gone off and done incredible stuff as well. So I mean, it's still out there in a way. People just have to maybe struggle to find it a bit more.
Well, I think there's just the legacy left by it of the people who were inspired by it to make their own stuff. Because I know you're not the only one who's told me they're like, this is why I wanted to make content, and I'm really proud that's the legacy it's had in that way, that I was able to inspire others. But then also just people on the show team getting a bunch of skills, getting opportunities to do stuff because of those experiences, and be able to go on and do cool things that I'm really happy and proud of them too.
Yeah, definitely.
Was that tweet like always scheduled to go out on a Monday? Because
it was, yes.
Okay, because I was gonna say I mean, I understand why you probably didn't tell me, but I sent you like the idea for the thing, so you could have said like, oh no, because you announced it after the tweet actually, so it wouldn't have made sense if I put was the owner. People be like, what was the owner, huh? But yeah, it was just funny how I tweeted that, and then like 4 hours later it's like, oh yeah, actually no, we're shutting down the show, and I was like, well, and not my fault, please.
It is not. It was once we decided it was going to be on that Monday, and then you said you're going to tweet about it. I'm like, this will be fine. More people will probably notice it then. And I think regardless that it's closed, I mean, I still own it technically. It's not a lie in any way. It's just no longer active.
Yeah. To keep on this,
so funny.
We might as well keep talking about MCC The Show and learn more about it and stuff.
Yeah.
So now that that's gone, and I understand it, like it doesn't not gone. I understand it isn't as active anymore, I guess is the best. I don't know how to word this. I understand why it stopped because of people not having enough time and busy and etc. and like people kind of doing their own things. Do you think we'll see anything similar to this but for Block Wars or for like KST for example, or anything you want specifically?
For sure we will see some of the stuff we learned from that to make other videos for Block Wars or KST. There's a difference though when you're trying to make like content about the event you run, about the things you want to highlight. Because it's not really, we did this earlier on in Block Wars Series 2, but we'd be like the top 10 plays afterwards. It's very different when that comes from the actual Block Wars channel versus come from a fan channel, and just has different dynamics then. So we have some ideas for doing things there. KST is leaning more toward into like the story side of things, and there's things coming out for the next event that will expand things there. But it's really taking just like some of the concepts and just the things we learned about how to make videos and do the production stuff to the other projects.
What are some of your favorite memories from MCC The Show? Okay, actually no, but actually yeah, we'll ask that because I got another question following it. So
there's a ton. The first one that I think of is the iceberg video.
Oh yes.
That video is a monolith, and I edited the whole thing over my spring break.
Oh jeez.
While I was house sitting for someone's cat, and so I would just be in call for like 8 hours a day, just getting more clips. I literally had it timelined out of like, today I'm going to download just all of these clips, and tomorrow I'm going to put them all in. The next day I'll download all of these. And like everyone was just joining me in call throughout the time, be like, I'm sorry, I'm Joey, I'm sorry for giving you so many things. And I was like, guys, you understand this video is going to be amazing though. And so that was just really cool to see that all come together and see the reaction from the community of how much everyone just was like, this is amazing. We love this. There's also just so many of the live streams together. When we concepted the idea of having like team announcement live streams or team reaction live streams, I wasn't planning to be on the desk really. I was like, I'm not great when I do scripted content, so I probably won't be good hosting in this way. Then I found from the first get-go, I was like, oh, I actually really enjoy this. I much prefer doing it live and talking rather than trying to record afterwards. And I just found that really fun to then do with my friends every few weeks. Oh, what other things? There's so we had a build server where it had the studio on it, obviously. And as part of it, we made our own office building just next to it as a funny thing. And so then everyone went in and decorated their offices, and then I judged them and gave rankings for everybody.
I was just say that something about MCC highlights, which are not MCC highlights, MCC The Show. Sorry, that I always respect.
You can use either name; it's fine.
Oh, I can use it. Okay, Phil, I was about to say, oh my god, I'm gonna do. Okay, either one. The thing that I liked about it was that, I've said this to AJ before, that I think I'd love to see MCC channels, or I guess I haven't really been in the space for so long. I've really wanted to see channels that were good, do stuff around MCC, not just do top 10 plays, or just channels that revolve themselves around tournaments. Do these different kind of videos, like how you did the iceberg video. Do this explaining video, history of what if didn't exist, all that kind of jazz. I think you guys did such a good job with that idea, because a lot of people I feel missed the mark and missed out on those kind of videos when they do. You proved it with the iceberg video. You put all that effort in and it got over 100,000 views. We have something similar, AJ, in the works works. Not an iceberg video per se, but just a similar idea to, which you'll see. We will see at one point, hopefully in December.
There was the idea for an MC Events iceberg video, which I think got written, or at least the image was made, but it was so many things in it that it never ended up getting to the editing phase. I like to think that when we were like looking at content to make, we're like, all right, we make the basic stuff, we make the top 10s or the best moments, because those like get views guaranteed kind of thing. And then you kind of have to explain, I guess, I don't know if everyone knows this, but some people would, I think we've explained it somewhere, that people necessarily weren't paid for the show, like full out rates, but then we were compensating based on how much ad revenue the channel would get based on which videos you worked on that month. So like if you were an editor on 3 videos, you got like, it'd be like 20 credits is what we called them, and the credits would translate to how many dollars we got from that month. So people were getting paid. It was not a wage that's like a lot of money, but there was no other money to go around. And like I spent more money on the show and other projects than I've ever made on any of these things, I promise. I have not made money at any point.
Do not worry with the podcast. I am like I pay people for their time, because obviously a lot of people are putting a lot of effort in, and I see it as like a kind of a motivation thing. And I always feel really bad because it's not loads, because I mean from the podcast, I'm earning just about a payout every month, which is £60 on YouTube. I am spending a good amount of money out of my wages from like working full time and when I was doing overtime, all this kind of jazz. So don't worry, I can very, very much relate to you, and I'm very honored, and same way you were, I'm very grateful to have these people who are understanding of they're here for the passion as a side to earning loads of money.
But kind of the issue with that arose is like people weren't paid for the first like 6 months, 7 months, I don't remember when it started, but once like payment became a thing, people wanted to be work on videos that would get more views, because then that didn't get them more money. Which makes sense. You want your time to be compensated accordingly. I 100% agree. It led to this negative feedback cycle of like top 10 videos were the ones that always did well. We have to make sure we do that quick and good and well. And some of these other videos that were more storyline focused or innovative or different weren't getting the same amount of like internal like motivation to do them, because they weren't guaranteed to do well.
I guess.
And there was like, this is part of the like lack of or how motivation fizzled out, is we kind of kept chasing to be a better YouTube channel rather than chasing to keep making great content, which are two different things.
Yeah.
That's what I'm quite fortunate for. Oh, sorry, Jen. I just want to say this. That's once again why I'm fortunate, because like I have a bit of a smaller team, and they are the podcast team. I mean, we have a wiki and everything for it. But like everyone gets paid their like set weekly thing. Well, I won't go into too much. I don't want to talk about it too much. But like certain people get paid like a set like weekly thing of like okay, no matter, because I plan stuff ahead. Like you were invited a good few weeks back, and a good few podcast guests in the future are invited now, and like so they get all this stuff done ready this week. And they do like 5 weeks worth of podcast edits. So for instance, Rory with the animation, or Oracat with the designs, and in the videos I can alternate between 2 different editors, and one of them is going to be working on the project, which is Twiggy, and then I'll get Vera to edit like the other videos. So like it's constant. I've been able to constantly cycle where people aren't fighting to do it, they're just they just kind of are the main person to do said thing.
What, people get paid?
Well, no, not AJ doesn't get paid. AJ's volunteer, but you just up and waffle.
Experience.
Yes.
Exposure.
Yes. What was you going to say, AJ? Sorry.
Well, I was going to ask what was sort of the competitiveness around trying to get those top 10 videos out as quickly as possible? Because I'm obviously you were mainly going against one channel, but I remember like I would do a post MCC live stream about the event, and then that night I would write the script, film the script, edit the video and so on up until like 5 a.m. to make sure I got the top 10 players out, which isn't even you guys weren't doing that, nor the competitors, and yet I still had to try and get it out as quickly as possible, because otherwise I was just getting no views in comparison.
I don't know, we went back and forth how we felt about trying to get out as fast as possible so that it got the most amount of views. And it was essentially like we had a system where we were getting it out like the morning after for the first few of season 2. And we're like, this is a good system. This is good. And then the other channel, CPK's channel, put it out like before us. We went, whoa. Like, I'm not going to say this was the right mentality we had, but it's what we had at the time. It's like, hey, this is our thing. We've been doing this since MCC 10. On my personal channel, I did start with 10. The show channel starting with season 2. We're like, hey, this was our thing, so we're going to push it out to get done earlier. And we got to such a good system that it would be me, Michu, and then usually Mystery and a call watching MCC together with other people taking notes. Michu's on the west coast of the US, being the editor. I'm downloading clips for him and like picking the ones and writing the script. Yeah. And then the person making the thumbnail, usually Clev or 8-Bit, they're both in the Philippines. And so like timing wise, we just had more time in the day to finish the video because it starts in the evening BST time.
Yeah.
And so we're like, why don't we just try to push this? How early could we get it out? And then it was almost like a competition with ourselves to see how quick we could do it. But I think eventually we went, this is unneeded. Like, this is kind of silly.
Yeah, it takes the fun out of MCC as well. Definitely. Like, I've been doing all the recordings during the event, and I'm like, oh, I'm not actually experiencing the event.
You're not actually appreciating it, yeah.
No, I'm just trying to get content from it.
Yeah. And there's also something definitely said for making content about an event that you have no control or influence or like knowledge, like insider knowledge of. Because, like, for example, we wanted to do the team announcement streams. Well, to do the team announcement streams, it's great to know ahead of time, so then you can have people around and ready to stream at 10 a.m. on EST time or 11 a.m. EST, whatever it usually was. And we wouldn't know when team announcements were until like 30 minutes before.
Yes, of course.
And so you're trying to like make cool stuff with this, and you just can't schedule it to make it easier on yourself. So then it became a thing like, well, what if we made our own event? And then we had all the insider knowledge. We had the replay mod footage on the server. We could just log on at any time and get things. And then that led to me and Gillen starting to talk about and develop KST, but we'll get to that later too.
Oh my god, yeah, so competitive in terms of that. How many sorry to cut you, Wiz.
Yeah, no, you're good.
How many people in the end worked on MCC The Show? Because I know it was just I would just look at it in utter jealousy. I tried to do it all by myself. I was just like, that is such a system.
It became such a system. I think it was always funny the way people described us as such like a corporate team entity, and I'm like, these are the silliest scoobers you've ever met trying to act like we know what we're doing in this kind of professional setting. I think in total over the years, I think it was probably around 34 people came through and worked on at some point in some capacity. And like, I guess to kind of talk about the original idea, where it like all came from, is in October 2021, I was like, I want to learn video editing. And that's during the pandemic. There's not a whole lot going on. 2020 October. Yeah. I want to learn video editing. Not a lot going on. I'm like, I watch Minecraft. I watch MCC some. Why don't I just try to make a top 10 video? And this was on Joey Capollo channel, but later became Beyond the Show channel. And so I made a top 10 of the MCC 8, I believe it was. My editing's not good. It's in Premiere Rush. There's really no transitions, no voiceover, no graphics. It is what it is. But it did really well because no one else at the time was making just like kind of content. And so I then made a few more and had ideas for like other kinds of style, like a player spotlight video. But what happened was that Sonny, who ran the original MC Highlights channel, which becomes MCC Highlights, he had put 3 videos up, and he basically reached out and said, hey, I don't have time to edit. You have time to edit. I'm already monetized. We're gonna like combine forces. You do editing and I do thumbnails and like feedback. And I was like, sure. So I joined with him, and that's then you get the Technoblade player spotlight video. You get the Captain Sparkle's curse. You get some much more story-focused content at the end of season 1. But also the first hype trailers, which are very so fun to look at as a piece of like what started the hype trailers, but they're so poor in terms of editing skill. And so Sonny and I did that for a bit, and then essentially he was no longer like interested in the space either, so I took over the channel. I had this idea for the show video, MCC The Show, of recutting all of MCC to show all the perspectives, all the story moments, all the things. That became MCC The Show 13, which I put out, and in the middle of that like hour and a half long video, I was like, hey, if you're interested in doing content with me, reach out. And the initial call got 6 people, which people who are a lot of them still around to this day, and it was Clay, Saber, Sorbetes, who made Reefy Stats, Michu, who still edits for Block Wars and for the Vault channel, and Crest, and then Sheep came shortly after that. But then that team just became like, we were just goofing around trying to figure out what we're doing. Oh, I forgot Lucario. Don't let Lucario know I forgot him. Like that team, we kind of just then were trying to figure out how to make content sustainably, and I was always trying to figure out how to motivate people and get everybody working together. And so even though like we were a corporate entity, quote unquote, or like lots of people, there's a team of 30 competing against everyone else. A lot of times most of us only had skills in like one particular area. Like I at least had a small amount of skill in everything because that was kind of my job of being in charge, so I could step in and help anywhere else. But for most people, they could only do editing or only do writing or only do commentary. And so the idea was bringing together a bunch of people who could all do like one part of it, so we could make something bigger than you could trying to do it alone. And I think it accomplished that. Even if I always found it funny when we're called out as this corporate entity, and I'm like, these are the silliest group of gamers you've ever seen, and like we're never professional.
What about MCC specifically had you so hooked though? Because I mean, I know you clearly enjoyed it because you made a whole thing about it. But how did you? Okay, I guess also linking into that, how did you even find out about MCC? Were you just heavily in the space? Did you just see it? What was it like? What was your kind of origin story?
So I was a big Minecraft YouTuber watcher, and like I don't remember what year it'd be, but it'd be like the Minecraft era into the beginning of Hermitcraft, which is a long while ago at this point. I was watching Etho, Vintage Beef, Good, Pause, all the gang. And then come like 2019, there was kind of the Minecraft resurgence, and I started kind of watching again. And as part of watching, I stumbled upon Technoblade, who I had watched his Bed Wars ones back in the day, but completely forgot about it. And so I started watching his things again, and then I saw he was in an event, which was MCC 2, I believe. And then I was like, what is this? Like, what is going on here? How is this made? And I've always been more like, while I watch a lot of creators, my favorite kind of creators are ones who not necessarily make content, but they make stuff. They make the events, they make the things. Like I always love seeing how things are made in that way. And so I was like, how did they do this? And as I was like, what do I want to edit? I'm like, MCC seems so cool. Like, I don't know how any of this stuff works. I don't know how Minecraft coding works at this time. I still barely do. But I was just so impressed by it. And it was such a step up on what all other Minecraft events had been before it. There's a video that we wrote but never ended up finishing editing about like why MCC is so great, which I think we talk about the MCC genre, but there's one particular just about why MCC is so great and why it is so influential for everything else that's come in the space. And I think like because it was so impressive when it came out that it stood apart from everything to such a high degree.
Just want to say, right now that you've said that, the idea that we're cooking is about Minecraft events. That's the first spoiler. I said that like I'll do it over the month. Like hint. That's the first hint. I do want to say that we might have something similar to what you said there. I don't want you thinking when you see it release that we stole the idea from you. Okay, I mean I'm very clear.
So you might have saw it because people were replying on the podcast tweet about me being on about where's the MC Events podcast coming back, Joey?
Oh yeah,
that was me and Gillen essentially recorded episodes about how do you make events. We then watched events and gave feedback and talked about what was good, what could lose a little improvement and things like that. But the thing I always said is like, you don't need to credit me or Gillen or whoever's saying stuff. Just like, we want you to make cool stuff. You don't need to say it came from me or was influenced by me. Like the cooler stuff that's made, the better it is for everyone. So I'm not worried that you would steal an idea. You're more than welcome, even if you were to steal it, to do it. As long as you're not making, Block Wars 2, the Electric Boogaloo, then I'd be like, whoa. A little too close.
That's January's plans for end, okay?
Oh god,
he's gonna announce a new event for the new year.
And you got the name on perfectly.
Yeah, jeez.
It was so obvious.
Electric Boogaloo. It was close.
It was so obvious.
I mean, you might as well answer that Twitter question now, right? When is it returning?
We might record a few more episodes this summer. Gillen right now is on vacation. The thing is, I just didn't enjoy editing them. It's really
It can be tiring.
I like editing regular videos. Editing a podcast is not the most stimulating or entertaining, but you have to give it your whole focus. Mm-hmm. And also during the school year, trying to schedule guests and stuff was difficult. I know. I assume you obviously know the struggle too, and time zones then as well.
Oh my god!
I've actually, to be fair, I've been quite fortunate. There's only like a few times where like I think it's like 1 or 2 guests where I've had them on, and they like rescheduled on me like 3 or 4 times, which was stressful. But I mean, we go there in the end, and like I said to AJ, you go through these stressful moments for the easy moments of like I've said to you, okay, 7 p.m. EST on Wednesday this day, and you're like, yeah, that's fine. And then the only reason we started recording a bit later was because of me and the trains being delayed. Other than that, we had our set time, we had our set day. And this is what the majority are. But yeah, the editing and everything, I can fully relate. I have the Force of It podcast that comes out on Friday, right, this week from recording. I still have like an hour and 50 minutes to watch through and edit. And I just haven't had the time to do it because of TwitchCon, etc. So
It takes a bit. And also, Gil and I kind of felt like we had watched all the events and given a lot of the episodes we wanted to do. So the only thing next to do was schedule like interviews and talk to people about making events. And that just became more logistics that I was like, I don't have the space to do this right now. But there...
You could start getting event players on. I know you did for a little bit of like
true, yeah,
etc.
There's a long list of people we're going to get on and talk to. It's again just like trying to combine all the things on top of like other responsibilities of the podcast, which is not the highest priority, unfortunately.
Yeah, but now you can probably go back to a lot of those events as well because they've
changed a lot
massively. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of events now are a lot bigger and better made.
So you bring up a concept though that I'd love to talk about or here on the podcast of the idea of events getting better with each successive event, because I said MCC was so influential in the space, and obviously we know it is, but I think part of its influence is the idea that like your event has to keep improving, getting new games, refining old games, getting more stylized, like getting all these better things, which is asking a lot from anyone who is not a paid developer to make their events. And is also asking a lot of all the other teams, on the staff team trying to make these things. So I sometimes wonder if it's not the most sustainable path of trying to make always, like, obviously we want to improve the things we make. That's just kind of a natural for a lot of people. But also if your expectation from the players is you have to like add a new game every 4 events, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
That's a lot of effort.
I think that idea, and see, the thing is, right, the podcast InsideMC, I don't think I've ever done it on Midweek MC, AJ, so you're about to hear it in the flesh. It's a great spot for hot takes, or for me to make my hot takes, because I don't mind saying it, but as long as it's not like being rude or saying anything, I'm happy for like hot takes to be said. My hot take is, I think, because a lot of events, and it's not a bad thing in itself, a lot of events have the same player roster, and the reason I make it very clear that that's not a bad thing in itself is because I player manage for Mayhem, and I have invited people who are also in many other rosters. I'm part of like that thing. However, I think because of that, event owners put that stress on. For example, like, I'm just going to name you, Joey, as an example here, just like I said. Sure. Say Joey's in Mayhem, Mania, Block Wars, Blissful, KST. You're in like 5-6 different events, right? Pandora's Box as well. Just so I don't miss out. So you're in all these different events, right? You're like a high priority player, so people constantly putting you in. You're constantly playing these different games, right? If I'm a dev for Mayhem, I'm like, oh geez, like Joey seemed to really enjoy Pandora's Box, and we haven't had an update in like 4 months, and Pandora's Box just released a new game, and Joey seemed to have really enjoyed that, really loved it. Crap, now the pressure's on. But I think a lot of people panic, and I think it's completely fair that they do, and think like, oh, because one person enjoys one event, it means that they enjoy another event. Of course, I believe in this like ladder scale that, like, for instance, and I will happily say Block Wars is at the top of, if say Block Wars and 2 other events were on the same day, people are more likely to sign up to Block Wars, and which is completely fine because it's just up there, right? I completely respect that thing. But if events are constantly thriving to try and be on different days, which I mean, I know Block Wars hasn't returned yet, but if you feel like letting us know so I can dodge around it, Joey, I'm more than happy to. But like, it's that scale of, I understand why that, but if they're on different days, then you shouldn't have to worry about one person enjoying another event more, because it doesn't mean they don't enjoy your event, kind of idea. Yeah. So
I think adding on to that point is the idea of like this player rosters being similar, like within one event, is an MCC thing as well. Like Minecraft events really back in the day were not like monthly or weekly kind of deals. There can be one-off random things would happen, people would play, come and go. I feel like was more of the status way back, and I think there's something to be gained from that, of instead of catering to players who are going to get to play in your event like 5-6 times, if you can have more of a diverse cast and letting more people in, you're not only exposing more players to play the event, you're exposing different viewers to the event, and you're also just getting more people in the space who are now get to play in events, which I think is good. And it's something we've talked about within KST for getting players, of how do we make sure this roster doesn't just end up like a combination of Origins, Mania, Mayhem, like all the players that are currently already playing events. Let's try to get some other people in.
Yeah. And I think that's like, I mean, it's also part of the worry of like, I think the Mayhem roster is fine, and I'm not saying anything bad about it, but picking up from the roster, I guess I would have loved to have kind of started my own roster, because I'm now like, if I decide to remove anyone, or if it gets to the stage of like I'm choosing to remove people, it's like, oh crap, I'm removing you, but you were invited by somebody else, as opposed to like, I guess with KST it's great because it's a fresh start, of the sense of if you add someone in, at least then if you remove remove them and go, oh, like, you know, with this event we're thriving to, it's brand new, we're thriving to have like multiple different players play the event, it's understandable. If I turn around and go, oh, I'd love to start doing that mayhem, people are gonna be like, yeah, but you've just got here. You know, I know it's been 6 months, but you just got here, so why are you changing what's been the same for the last like year and a half, for example?
Yeah, that is tough. I think there should be a case for more. It's not you're being removed from the event for anything negative. You're just taking up a spot that someone new could come in and participate in the event. Not that this new person is better or in any way like replacing you. It's just bringing in more people to enjoy an event instead of having it be the same cast every time.
Yes, exactly. And that rotation is just going to lead to more people getting bigger in the space as well, which is important for events to do, and just keep pushing, other people forward. And then that means the entire space is going to be more diversified. If there won't be the same players in all the same events and such. If you can break the chain and system. And I mean, Block Wars does that pretty solidly, especially. I guess this is one for you. Was that like going on to Block Wars now? Was that like a decision that was made? Because I know the cast originally the cast was very much like MCC like, and then you had certain other event players as well. Was it then a decision to go into and go, okay, we're going to get people from anywhere? We're going to get people that aren't even in the Minecraft space and put them in the event and see how they do.
So it was, yes, and to kind of go back through the chain of events, it's because you have Series 1, which is when at the end of Series 1 is when it splits into Origins and Series 2. Wolfie will claim that I came up with the idea and pitched it to him of splitting this event. I think it's more of him. I posed a question to him, which was, Wolfie, as we keep adding more bigger creators to this event, how are you going to decide who plays when you have all these smaller creators who have been here for the whole first series? And it kind of led us into like a brainstorming session then of like, oh, we could split the event into two, where one keeps this community aspect and one is focused on content creators and more of like the spectacle of the event. And because I think there's the place for both. I think the community event is great, and having the same cast of people then get to play and be together and be friends and have all those things is cool. But you don't want those people then playing against content creators who are there for a very different reason. It is also weird when you have, I don't want to mean this in a negative way to anyone. I can use myself. If I'm in an event for whatever reason, I'm on a team with Captain Sparkles, CPK, Ant Venom, it doesn't make sense that I'm there. I'm not going to bring an audience that's new or expose new people to them. Their audience is going to see me like, oh, I want to see stuff he makes. I don't have content. And I think that is fine to recognize there are different spaces, and that like content creators are there to make content and be entertaining and show off for their viewers and show the viewers a good time, and then get new viewers from the connections. Not in a narcissistic way, just in that that's what they do when they make content together. That's what the point of collabs is. And so when we then decided to split the roster from Origins into the content creator event, Wolfie's like, I want to get non-Minecraft players in here because our event is too high skilled. It's known as the hardest Minecraft event. We want that to not be the case. And it was, I don't even think it was the hardest Minecraft event then. I don't think it is now either. No.
Yes.
But that's just what it was. That was the moniker was getting called by the content creators, because they would like CPK would play in it and get absolutely destroyed. And he's like, why are they so good? And so the focus was, let's get non-Minecrafters, let's lower the overall skill level. And while it didn't happen immediately, because obviously Wolfie and Shane and Mysticat got people they were connected with in the first few events, content creator wise, it has now been happening thanks to a lot of work from Anthos, who does the 1 block a day Twitter account.
Okay, that's interesting to know.
Oh, well, you didn't know that, AJ?
No.
I thought you did. Yeah, no, Anthos I knew was like.
I think I remember it from when you had Anthos on.
Yeah, I just remember mentioning it. Yeah, because he was also in the like the thank you for season 3 post. I think Wolfie made it. Anthos was like credited for like help with getting people in. You kind of with like what you said there. One thing that I want to pick back up on when you said about the whole, we've had all these people play for the first series. What do we like? How do we do this? It kind of like proves my point of the situation of like, if I ever wanted like kind of do a rotation of players or bring new people, which I'm not saying is completely in my mind. It's just the idea is obviously always going to be there. It's like you've kind of proved my point of like, how do I kind of go, oh yeah, like, because you've been here since the start, you've been loyal. And I don't want to split. I'm not saying that Block Wars split is bad. I think it's really, really good, and I love watching both Block Wars and Block Wars Origins. Very, very entertaining. But personally, I don't want to do a split, and Mayhem already kind of has it in drafts, which is not commonly known. I think I'm allowed to speak about it because I'm working on trying to make it a little bit more known, but that's purely just for like actual OG Mayhem players, kind of like how Block Wars Origins is for like OG Block Wars players. But you kind of just have this situation of like where you're in, and I completely agree with the whole, this is a content creator, this is a player, how do we mix them in and make it work? Is there a way to mix them in and make it work? And then when you, I mean, I can imagine when you guys are getting people, like you said, with through Anthos reaching out, or they're DMing people and they're interested, it's like, oh crap, like this person really wants to be like, really wants to interest. And now that you're looking for sponsors, I mean, the Chipotle sponsor, how did that come to be?
Really fortunate timing for us, really. We have an agent essentially that we work with who, well, I guess it's more of a middleman agent-esque person who is then connected with some agents through stuff they do, where they help we've given them a bunch of like Block Wars material. Here's what the event is, here's why you should sponsor, and they solicit try to get sponsorship deals for us. And happened to be that agent who got the Chipotle deal worked a lot with Hannah XX Rose, and so Chipotle has already been in the Minecraft space, and her has like been connected with her, and so it ended up working out to make it happen. I can't describe to you how much stress that put myself and Jordan under for it, because it was a lot, and it obviously has opened my eyes to a lot of the business side of things that you don't necessarily think about when you're just making an event. It's very difficult. We're hoping obviously for future Block Wars to be sponsored, but that is not something we can decide fully. Obviously, it requires sponsors to be interested to do so.
Of course, yeah. You need the people there, definitely.
I don't want to get into like too much on the finance side, because obviously that's private information, and so only answer this if you can. But how did, like, when the sponsorship happened, how did the split work? Because obviously a lot of people who are working for Block Wars and work for these events, they're not getting paid. They're all doing it out of their own time. They're all doing it voluntarily, and a lot of Block Wars team were. So when it did come to like, oh crap, like we have money coming in, was it just like, okay, we all agree this sponsorship will be invested straight back into Block Wars, or was it like, once again, I don't want to pressure too much here, so just answer what you can.
I can give a little bit of impact of insight, as though we talked as like the head leadership team of like what to do with the money, and because it wasn't necessarily enough, if like we start paying everyone like the monthly amount they're owed for their work, we're going to run out in 2 months. And we knew we were going on a break after the event. So we can't really like pay people that way, because then you're going to get that money and then it's going to stop. Also, we wanted some finances in the bank in the event anything's going wrong or we need to pay for things. And so we ultimately decided we gave everyone a bonus, essentially a one-time bonus of this payout, and then either put it in the bank or reinvest it into some of the things we need for Series 3 that's being worked on. And so the hope is, though, if it is a continual process of getting Block Wars sponsored, that then people are being paid on like a more monthly basis, where it is a paid job to work on Block Wars. That is the hope, the dream, the lofty ambition I want for all of us. But it is obviously very difficult, as only, EV&T is the only other group that has been able to do it at a high scale professional level.
Yeah.
But when there's a will, there's a way. It's always possible. You just gotta, like you said, do it right, have the kind of backing for it, and like, I mean, I'm excited to see what Series 3 brings, like with the creators you guys have been getting involved, and even if you don't add any new creators, I'm just excited to see where it goes all together.
There are some big things being worked on. I love seeing the Discord right now of all the new stuff being put in. And I'm like, they don't know. They don't know what's coming.
Can we get any hints to it?
Yeah.
Podcast exclusive hints.
Tune in to TwitchCon.
Okay, I have a prediction here, okay? And you can either confirm or deny it. I just want to put this out there because this podcast is coming out on the week of TwitchCon. It comes out on the 26th, which one is on the 29th. One question, you're not going to be at TwitchCon, are you?
I will not be.
Okay, alright, I'm putting this out there, and don't give any reactions, I don't want to be spoiled. I have a prediction that the date for the next Block Wars is going to be announced on that panel. I've said it before, but so it's here in writing, or here in like proof. That's my prediction, okay? Whether or not it happens or not, we'll see. But I've just convinced myself it doesn't happen. Because I feel like it's just a perfect opportunity where the hype is built. Because I mean, Rafe has reached out to. I won't say too much. Me and Rafe have talked about stuff as well. So they've got some cool stuff planned, which I won't spoil, but just know that they've reached out to the podcast for like anyone listening. So the panel is going to be like really, really cool, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I feel like it'd just be like the perfect, like you said there, because also Ghosty's the new social media manager, and they're going to be at TwitchCon as well, doing like little TikTok interview stuff. So it's just the perfect opportunity, I think, to be like, yeah, here's Series 3. So
that would be crazy.
There you go. Sorry, I'm not trying to put you on the spot there. I've said this on stream, I promise. I'm just re-saying it here.
I like the reaction.
When making Block Wars, because I mean we'll go through the events one by one. So next one we'll move on to the next one after this. But when like making Block Wars, I made a joke when talking to Marcus the other day, and I was like, all roads lead back to MCC testing, because a lot of the Block Wars origins like players and stuff were from MCC testing. So what when you sat down and was like, yeah, we're gonna make our own Minecraft tournament, how did that all happen?
So first of all, I was not there at the original Block Wars. I joined in CapolloMedia, took ownership of Block Wars after Series 1, before Series 2.
Oh.
And that kind of happened due to ASO at the time was helping with show things, coding and some plugins for us. Like we had a camera plugin on the server /mod. That's how we did the different camera angles, and we're able to do stuff that were slightly more professional. And ASA was brought on as a Block Wars dev, and as well as some other devs at the time that are more complicated to explain, so we're not going to get into that. But they were essentially like, yeah, Block Wars needs money to keep going, and they don't have money. Because like even servers cost money. Yeah, especially for a good event server. Yeah. And I was like, hey, we're making some money from this YouTube channel. We could pay for that server cost pretty easily and like ensure they have good stuff. And so we kind of talked to them. I talked with Blizzard and Tommy at the time, and was like able to convince them this would make sense. And it's very funny to look back on it, because like most of the Block Wars like leadership team was still there. Like you had Finn, Donut, Tommy, ASO, Wolfie, and most of them weren't like 100% on board with this idea. They're like, what is CapolloMedia get out? Why is Joey doing this? And it was like, I like Minecraft events. It's not like that much money, and we can afford to do this. So like, let's do it. And I just remember Wolfie and Finn being both really skeptical of me at the beginning. And then as we like started working together, they're now like close friends that like trust me and trust my opinion on things. And like when something goes wrong, there's a message in my DM to come deal with it, which is just how things go.
I mean, you're technically you are the owner right now, so
I am, yes, but like it's a case of doesn't always mean every problem is fixable by me, but I have to deal with problems that get escalated.
Yeah.
And so when then like I didn't like step in immediately like, all right, here's what we're doing for Block Wars Series 2. I trusted the people who are still working on it, that they had a good head of where they were going with it. And while I did have some influence on the split, as me and Wolfie talked it out, Wolfie is ultimately the one to convince Tommy and Liz it was a good idea. A lot of what I have just provided is just been like logistics management of like, here's how to organize people, here are the systems to use, and here's how to make sure we communicate well and work together well. Because as you can imagine, there's a lot of crunch at times. There's a lot of stress as you want events to go well. There's a lot of people that can only work on their thing and can't necessarily help when something else goes wrong in a different area. And so just kind of getting us all on the same page of working together was a lot of what I worked on. And so, I mean, so I gave feedback on games occasionally and some other stuff. I played in 2 tests, I believe, long ago, help record footage for one of the update videos. I edited a few of the videos back then too, but I've kind of just filled in wherever is needed, except for development, because I can't do that. And I've trusted the team to do the things they're doing. And now since Jordan has been the project lead on it now, Jordan has been the go-to man for getting all of these things done, of pushing out the end of Series 2 and now leading us into a bright future for Series 3.
I know this is such a basic question,
sure,
but how does it feel owning an event of this capacity?
It's bizarre in a sense because like people in my personal life know about it as well, but it's not something I just tell everyone.
Yeah.
And it's also like I'm not hugely active within like the Minecraft community space of like active on Twitter. Like I look at Twitter and look at what's going on, but I'm not like a big talker. I mainly talk within like all media discords within the team or 2 other people of working on stuff. So sometimes it's kind of surreal of realizing that I do, I guess, own it, and I am the guy who his name is technically sort of there, but I always credit all the people I've got to work with. And like even if I was like, all right, we're changing Block Wars tomorrow, they would never let me do that, and that's how it should be. Like, I don't have unilateral control over any of the things that happen. It has always been a team-focused approach, and I want to keep it that way.
Honestly, fair. I respect that.
I guess, yeah, the biggest thing is that you basically refined the skill of being a project manager.
Which you don't know is a skill until you have bad project managers or a project's going poorly, and then you go, oh, there is a good way to do.
Yes, definitely, of course. I guess into that then, how was it? Because obviously you come into Block Wars a little as it's moving in process already. How was it instead working on making your own event in KST?
Stress free. I'm not gonna pretend that like Block Wars has caused me stress from various different things that I deal with. And it's not necessarily anyone's fault or any team member's fault or any like the team's fault. It's just the nature of like taking charge of something that's already existed, and now you're like responsible for everywhere it's been and everywhere it's going. Whereas for KST, I purposely kept the team very small. There's only 6 of us, 5 of us, 6 of us, I guess, depending on how you count, on it, and I've kept it small so that everyone stays very much in their realm of what they work on. And then it's been just a lot easier to also not be trying to push the status of a monthly event. Instead, we're going like, we're doing an event, and then at the end of the following, like a beginning of event. So if we had an event beginning of June, then we'd look at end of July kind of thing, and then one slightly after that. So we're just having a more sustainable approach of recognizing like the more work you add, the more people you need, the more people you need, the more stress you add, and the cyclical cycle of just adding more means more everything. And so keeping a much narrower scope has just been our focus, and really leaning into like the medieval theme and just focused on making good quality games that people enjoy playing.
Yeah, of course. And well, there's a lot of things that, you know, you basically took the formula of a Minecraft event and done a few things that are different. There's so you don't obviously have voting for the games. There's less people. There's only 20 people, 5 people per team. I'm trying to think of the other stuff, because there is other stuff. One of the seasons there wasn't a finale.
That wasn't. It's tragically. It was like there are also logistic reasons for why some of these things happen. When you make it 20 players, you don't have to make games that work for more teams, because if you want a round robin style game and there's 8 teams or 10 teams, now that game is 7 or 9 rounds, which is a lot longer, or 18 rounds in the case of Siege, where you play attack and defense.
I was about to say, imagine Siege
for 18 rounds. Be so many. And so like I really like the idea of keeping it smaller. I think there is space to at some point grow to 30 or 40 players, but Gillen will shake his head in the background behind me if he was here and being like, don't put that on me, don't put that on me. But it requires just a redesign of a lot of the games, a lot of things we've already concepted. And so we're willing to focus more on a good experience for 20 than a experience that'd be very similar to other Minecraft events if you went 40 or 30 players for now.
Okay, that's interesting.
And also in terms of voting, I find voting to be very unnecessary for events, and particularly because every event has voting. And instead, we wanted to have the event have like a progression of stakes and gameplay. Because some MCCs you could have, you know, build mart first, it was always ace race 4th, build mart last, to get to the other side was like 3rd or 5th, or however it used to be. There was like a set meta for it, even though it wasn't meant to be. And I was like, what if we just decide the meta ourselves, so we have this progression of intensity of the games? And then also point balancing is a lot easier when there's no multipliers to worry about.
Yeah, true. Okay, this is all interesting stuff to hear, especially because me and Orbit's obviously both work in events as well. To see you guys doing something different. I guess to take it back to like the beginning, you sort of touched on it when we were talking before about MCC The Show, but obviously the inspiration is MCC, and you want to do it yourself and have your own secrets and so on. But where does it all begin in terms of from the get-go?
It begins with wouldn't it be cool if we had our own event where I could get replay mod footage of the things that happened to then make cool highlights afterwards?
Yeah.
Hey Gillen, if we made an event I really like medieval theme, don't you? He's like, yeah. And we're like, what if we kept it very like set themed? Because we talked about this in the MCC genre video of like not saying this in a negative derogatory way, because I think we did a really good job of explaining how this is not a bad thing, but everything kind of fits in the same genre right now of this arcadey festival style thing that MCC, Block Wars, others have. I was like, what instead we go for a theme that is separate from that, so then everything can lead to that. And what we're now working on, because essentially these first couple events, Event 0 and now 1 and 2, have been functioning like works. These are proof of concepts. The event works. It's fun. It's playable. Now it's time to refine all of the spectacle side of it, things, and the video production and kind of the lore we're going to sprinkle in too to add to it. Because I find that MCC is great to watch, Block Wars is great to watch, Mayhem's great to watch. All these events are great to watch, but there's nothing that connects one event to the next.
Yeah.
Like, and it comes to a point where MCC, they've stopped numbering them now due to this, that they all kind of blend together then. And unless you're like Bulbasaur, who could recite you what person was on which team of every event, they all bleed together in my head.
Yeah, same.
And so I like the idea of having some meta progression / story going on attached to the event that fans of the event can also care about. And you're not just discussing the same top 10 players, best event performance, most exciting play, like all the things that are normally discussed ad hominem forever.
So you're trying to basically just do something entirely different.
Somewhat. I think it's blending.
Yeah, still rooted in the same.
It's like still an event. I think it draws a lot from like the lifesteal YouTube side of things.
I was going to say that, yeah. I was going to say it feels like it's mixing with SMPs sort of and events.
Where they can make a video that says what like this cool idea, but it's on the lifesteal server, so it's part of the overall lore. And so that's kind of an idea we're going for, where each event will have a different flavor to it that we're now experimenting with some ideas, and then having those play into a bigger story to make it then feel worthwhile to tune in every time. Not just because your creator's there to watch, but because there's something to still be a part of and still be a viewer of.
I think kind of alongside that as well, though, with the whole, like, you said you wanted to do something a bit different. And I agree, like, it's not that it's a problem, but I think a lot of people looked at MCC and went, damn, that works. And then Block Wars came and everyone looked at Block Wars and went, damn, that works. And everyone looked at Pandora's Box, Mayhem and Many and went, damn, that works. And I think
it keeps working.
Yeah, and then because of damn, that works, I think a lot of people are worried to kind of think, because I had a tournament idea a little while back. I just don't have any time to do it. Me and Jack kind of came up with the idea. It was an idea concept and never saw it through. I'm happy to share. It was like a UFC style tournament where there's like 8 people, for example, and then there's like every like month there's like main card events. So there's like the main card for the champions, who is the best Minecraft PvPer, who is the best Minecraft parkourer, and then people fight each other to go up the table, and like proper like UFC rankings, which would have been an original concept. But I sat down and went, damn, like say we do it on a Saturday, right? Can't do it on a Saturday because there's so many events on Saturdays. So we can do it on a Sunday, but then say for some bizarre reason we have like a champion of all 3 categories, and then Pandora's boxes on the same day, or another tournament on the same day. I don't think we have the capabilities to convince someone to do 1v1 fight and wait 2 hours for it when they're not getting paid in any sense, as opposed to them playing a 3-hour event in Pandora's box. So it just fell through. I think alongside that, a lot of people like are just a bit worried, and rightfully so, and fair enough, sorry, that they are, to make these original ideas or these original concepts. And I'm hoping AST people sit down, look at it and be like, damn, like people really enjoy this. I enjoy watching this, and it doesn't follow the same format. It's completely different.
I think for us in the event space, we like acknowledge it's a different format, but I think casual viewers won't necessarily notice. I just hope that people who are making their own events say, what new thing am I going to bring in, and focus on that and make it theirs and make it their own. Also, to slightly tease something, because you just brought up the idea of like, if you have this person who's really good at this event, they're probably also playing in other events too, if it's that kind of person. There's a community of Minecraft that hasn't really had their own event yet, and could really use some events based because of what Minecraft was. And if you're ever a big fan of Lego Masters, the TV show, I think you could see where that could lead.
I'm sorry. I don't get. AJ, you're going. Can you narrow it down for me then, please? Because Joey's only hinting it, so they can't tell me straight up. So you're going to.
I can narrow it down. I'll narrow it down.
Yeah, so. Sorry.
What is Minecraft to most of us but a building game? Who don't get to participate in events, but instead just make them. Builders. And if you look at previous kind of building events, it's always the build battle style, which is good for like a short little thing. it is not good for really showcasing people's actual skills.
So you're
Yes.
gonna build a competition.
So a building competition / event is
Oh.
also in the works right now for CM and is getting close. Getting close.
I mean, you know, if you ever want to make another event at Joey Capollo, I can probably cook up a pretty nasty idea. I feel like I could. I don't know. I did it with the podcast. I cooked up the podcast idea, and I'm pretty proud of this. So you know, I feel like I'll go in.
Well, let me just add it to my list of ideas people have pitched me.
I can imagine you've got loads.
There was a joke within CM that I hate when people just bring up ideas, and particularly April Fool's ideas, because it's really easy to get carried away and excited about an idea that you're just not going to spend any time with, but it's fun to talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily hate it, but I hate April Fool's ones in particular because it's one day a year and it's really not that big of a deal, gang. It really isn't that big. We don't need to do this much for it.
We've grown up.
But I was like, instead of talking about like that idea that we're never going to do because we can't do it, let's talk about something that's like closer to realistic.
I feel like the UFC idea isn't a horrible idea.
No, I think that's a very possible idea to do. I'm not going to call out anybody's ideas that have been given to me over past years, but it was very often that I hit him with potentially. And when I say potentially like that, it means no.
Everyone has their way. I have my way of saying it. Like, it's not a no, but like no. I just say like this isn't a yes or a no, but no promises. That's my way, rather than saying potentially. Because if I say potentially, it's copying everyone else. Like, I might have my own little line. So
with Australian method, no,
but that's just trying to no, like if you say possibly, at least you're not ruling it out, you know. But if you go no, you have shops ruled it out. It's a sad part.
But to go back briefly, we also had 1PL, 1 point league, which did happen last fall. My sense of time.
And that's August. The final was on August 6th, 2023.
It is also a project that's ongoing, but it's kind of changing shape. And the idea of it, I think, is very good from that was Brush who came to us and had this concept. It's like, I need support to this. Like, let's make it happen. And I think there is still the potential for it, but it is still hard to find the space to make a true Minecraft esport-esque league. I think the current best format for it's been speedrunning, which is funny to me in some sense, because speedrunning is also like very non-beginner friendly to watch. But nowadays, speedrunning is so ubiquitous and Minecraft speedrunning is so ubiquitous that viewers can understand what's going on.
I must say that Chandiggly Dog hasn't done like a horrible thing with ABL, if you know what that is. That's
the Island Battle League?
Yeah.
That?
Which I think they've done like a pretty decent job with it, but it's just such a hard concept. I mean, look at by the way, really quickly before we go on, I'm looking at the 1 Point League Twitter account and it says starting July 1st. I'm assuming that's outdated.
That was last year's July 1st.
Okay, alright, I was about to ask, I was like, is there something else getting announced at TwitchCon?
No.
Okay.
That's changing form a little bit. And it's still being worked on too, but that's taken a back burner for some of the other projects. It's always been a difficult thing that in CM we have all these projects, but I like having lots of different things going on. I like to work on these different things, but you can only dedicate your full attention to one thing at a time. And at times, Block Wars really needs me. At times, the show really needed me. At times, KST really needs me. And so try to balance them all has been difficult. And I can credit Quinn as well, who I think people know. They should know. Quinn is also co-owner of CM. Like, it is Quinn and I. Even though it has my name, it was, as I said, it was silly at the time, and it stays silly.
That's a Swordington for anyone unaware.
Yes.
And also, Jordan is Cruvers for anyone unaware.
Crothers,
sorry, for anyone unaware. Just.
But now it goes by Jordan in most things.
Yeah, but just for anyone who knows them by like their like online alias. Like if you just started randomly referring to me as like Charlie to people would be like, who's Charlie?
It's true.
Oh, Orbis. Oh, I know them. They run that podcast.
People know me as AJ.
Yeah. So.
They forgot the X.
Yeah, well,
well, you told me to start calling you AJ. Well, you didn't tell me directly, but you indirectly basically hinted at me calling you AJ, so now I call you AJ.
It's what everyone calls me in real life, so
if it works, it works.
But like, so with all these projects, like the thing I would say is like, I do a lot of just managing other people to make cool things, which sometimes is sad because I like doing video editing. I like doing the hands-on stuff, but I don't get to do it as much. But I think like there's so many talented people in the Minecraft space, and I love when people come together and make stuff together. It just requires, developing a community and a system of working together that is supportive and sustainable and generative, and not one where you feel stressed all the time, which is very hard to do.
But you've taken on like a lot. CapolloMedia, I mean, just looking at the site here, you go onto branches, there's Block Wars, there's Knights of the Square Table, there's 1 Point League. How much, because I don't want to get this wrong in assuming, how much of an impact has CapolloMedia on Pandora's Box, if any?
Very minor, if none at all, really. The most was Michu edited some of their update videos for them as it became Pandora's Box. There was like an initial idea of us taking on the same role we were doing with Block Wars, but it ended not panning out. They're doing great, and we cannot take credit for any of that success.
Okay, all right. I wasn't sure because I remember seeing that there's something somewhere, but I guess I just read it wrong.
Mm-hmm. It was said a while back. Yes, there was it was called a partner rather than a branch because it was separate technically.
Got you. Okay. To kind of like carry on the whole like the 1 Point League talk here, I think alongside the whole esports concept is it's such an amazing idea. But the reason that like esports orgs or like people who play in esports are able to show up these events and stuff is because they're being paid by the esports org themselves. So they obviously prioritize the time of like, oh, do I go and play in this tournament for £100,000 or do I go on like a family vacation for 2 days? I mean, like, there's, unless you haven't seen your family in years, you're obviously going to choose the £100,000 tournament. But with like a free one or like a one inside Minecraft where, funny reference, sorry, one inside Minecraft where like, you're not getting like paid for it, or it's just like you're in the esports. Can people really prioritize and every Saturday or every other Saturday to showing up for it as much as a lot of people would love to? Do I choose calling in sick to work and losing out on £100 to play in a Minecraft event, or vice versa? And I mean, you kind of just have to pick.
It is very difficult, and I find that way of phrasing really interesting, because back when I was in high school, I played a lot of League of Legends, and I would play in random one-off or online tournaments that were every 2 weeks. I forget what night they were on, but I think they had more as well. But you'd have several hundred people joining the TeamSpeak at the time before Discord, showing my age, and then get matched up into teams, and you get to play in a tournament of 4 games that night, which is a lot of games of League. And well, I think yes, you're really restricting the potential player base when you're trying to say play every week of this thing. I think trying to find formats that are more creative, that are more logistically creative for that would be best. I'd rather trying to have it be like this day everyone's on, like, all right, we're going to schedule this match before these 2 teams, when are their teams available, and then also being willing to have like alternates on a team, so you don't need all 4 or however many people for a team have to be there.
Oh, yeah, you just have subs and stuff.
That's just going to be, you'd have to, as organized, be a lot more logistically flexible, and that is asking a lot.
And again, I mean, that's why I go back to, because I'm sorry if I've assumed wrong here. Do you work, Joey?
I am a grad student, so I'm currently working on my dissertation.
Okay, well, I mean, so you spend a lot of time like in education.
I spend a lot of time doing stuff outside of Minecraft. Yeah.
There we go. So yeah, so if someone turned around and pitched you the idea, or turned around and said, oh yeah, like every 2 weeks Wednesday, we want you to join our team. Every 2 weeks Wednesday, we want you to do this. It's like you need to then become, or not, like maybe even if it's once a month, but like say you do have like a class every Wednesday at that exact time, you then have to turn around and go, oh, I'm sorry, I can't. But getting people in just from the community, like how you did when you were younger, that's easy to do, but then it takes away from that whole, I feel like, esports aspect of what we see from Twitch Rivals or what we see from actual like esports competitions.
It is a lot harder than to have sustainable teams, and it's like a balance of trying to find the people that are the best but also somewhat entertaining, because if you're to like say the best event players, you could get Einberg, Awesome, Berries, Kaylin. That's a very solid team, but then people will be like, well, they're not actually that good at PvP compared to some of these sweats that you've never heard of.
Yes.
It's like, how do you balance out the actually having like storylines to get people like that? And I don't have answers for that necessarily. I think it's a very difficult thing to figure out, and I think it's just a case of trying to decide what the point of your event is if you want to do an esports league. Who is it for to play and who is it for to watch? And what is your goal with it?
That's what I found in IBL. That I was asked to create a team, and I literally put all the best people I possibly could, but they still couldn't beat anyone that that just plays BattleBox every single day. That's all
they do.
Yeah. So it was incredibly difficult, and our main team literally won 0 games. So
that's how it is. And I also, to get back to time real quick, like I signed up for MCC Tester one time at the way long ago, and I've never done that since, nor really play Block Wars tests, because I just don't have the time to do it, even though it's obviously really fun and I can provide good feedback, or it's just fun to be part of these communities. But I don't have the time to do it, and I manage all this stuff, so I know our staff team doesn't have the time and other people don't have the time. It's a hard balance to find the players for these kinds of things, and also the staff that can then dedicate the time to making them happen.
I mean, it's also background checks. It's easy to, if you're inviting someone to your event or Nice Square table, it's kind of easy to background check them. But if you're okay, we're going to build this esports team. Okay, these 4 people have submitted their team together. We background check them all. 3 of you, you're great. That 4th one, though. Oh crap. So turning down an entire team because of one person, or telling them look, we can't invite this 4th person, it always becomes so awkward, because how do you turn around to get someone and be yeah, no, I can't invite all 4 of you because that one there, they're bad. So there's so many different aspects.
That's an even more of an issue that kind of came up in Block Wars slightly, of having to decide who is and isn't allowed to play, and we have always shied around the part that we're an event. We're not here to pass judgment or make anything. We're just going to stay away from the controversies of it, which I think is the best way to do it.
It's rather than it being it's just because also you're having 40 people play at the same hour. You're having them team with 4 people. If someone has a bit of a ruder attitude, and no one in specific, I'm just saying it out there, you're do you really want that to possibly affect the other 4 people's experiences? And it's just a messy conversation in general.
It is.
I have one question about Nicer Square Table that because I didn't get to ask it because we moved on, which is completely fine. When picking players to invite, because it's a completely fresh event, was there any method to it?
For event 0, it was who can I get people so we have 20 players, which was event 0 was functionally as a prototype. It was a test, but not a test, where I went, if we put 20 players who've never played these games before, will they have a good time? And it went. And then going into event 1, I was okay, we're going to add some of those people in, and now I went, who can we get? I have Stein and Ollie Kopeg now as my assistants for player management things, of who can we get that is involved, who is not already in other events, essentially, and who can we also get to round out the skill level of our rosters. And so currently it's still kind of similar to other events, I would say, with some of the people, but it is definitely the goal going forward to expand it out as well, because we even had this discussion as we were talking about, we had a feedback from one player about a bunch of the games, and this is something we talked about earlier too in the podcast, but the games didn't change a lot between event 1 and 2, but the player base changed so significantly that all the new players obviously didn't know what did or didn't change. Whereas if you played in all 3, event 0, 1, and 2, you would see what did or didn't change. And if our priority is getting in lots of new players and keep rotating the cast, then we don't necessarily want to change as many things as you would change if you're keeping them the same cast. And so we are looking to do that strategy versus the change a lot of things every event and keep the players kind of the same.
Do you have anything else to speak about events, or should we get into talking a bit more about you specifically?
I think everyone's making cool events out there. I love watching all different kinds of events, and if you have any questions about making events and you want to DM me, you can do that on Twitter or on Discord. I may not reply immediately because I am actually terrible at replying at times, but I will do my best to answer questions you might have.
I must say you've done a pretty good job in replying to me about my queries, especially the one that's happening in
True. I'm good sometimes. I have
September.
I go through phases where I reply to everything and phases where I reply to nothing. I reply to nothing that is not urgent is more the thing.
So kind of move into you specifically here then. We mentioned at the start of the podcast how Joey Capollo is not your real name at all, not even the first name. Why the name Joey Capollo?
It's not the most exciting story. In 6th grade, me and my friend in this class were messing with another classmate who couldn't remember names well. And so my friends started calling me Joey Capollo, which became Joey Allen Capollo as the joke. It's not even the funnest joke to really mess with a person this way, but we were 11. That was 11 years old at the time, so a long time ago. And I don't actually remember more than that of how it happens. But then he was the one to get me into online gaming. So I made a Steam account and then called it Joey Capollo because I was playing with him. And so that's just been my username ever since. And I remember like the first Minecraft server I was on, everyone thought my real name was Joey Capollo. And then they're like, why do you just have your full actual name? And I was like, that's not, guys, it's not me. I gotcha. I tricked you.
So when you meet like people in the online space in real life, if you have met anyone, they call you by your own name or did they call you Joey?
I have only met Quinn, which was last summer. And I think Quinn alternated between Joey and my actual first name.
Honestly, fair.
Because you're used to what you call it. You're used to what me, or trying to adapt to the other thing, but it's hard to do.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for not this year's US TwitchCon, but next year's TwitchCon, or maybe one of the other things, to get a CapolloMedia / Blockwars group at it, and that then we can hang out as a group. But that depends on things that are related to money and where it is next year.
I reckon next year you could probably get like a full-on just Block Wars panel at TwitchCon EU. I mean, because you have part 1 this year. Mm-hmm. Well, not you, but Block Wars has part 1. I mean, do you want to promote that panel while we're here, by the way, quickly before we carry on talking about you? Because I feel like
we have talked about it, but yeah, there's going to be a panel put on by Wraith that will have Wolfie and also with CPK and Firebreath Man, and I forget who else because I don't remember at the moment, but Wolfie will be there talking about Block Wars stuff and events and those kinds of things, so make sure to tune into that.
And this podcast is coming out on a Wednesday, so
week, that will be Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday at I'm trying to find it. It's called the
5 p.m. their time.
Wait, did you say it's called Rotterdam?
Yeah.
Oh, you're so funny.
I think it's called the Smile Theatre.
Oh, I'll find it for the
No, it's the Nom Nom Theatre. I pulled it up.
Nom, of course.
Oh, there'll also be Owen's Juice there as the 5th person. That's who I forgot. I found it.
Journeying into the Minecraft event sphere. That's what I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
duration 1 hour. It'll be a live stream, so tune into that on Saturday because that'll be awesome. I can't wait.
And M07, who I've never seen a name before. Not to who make a lol. I just never heard a name.
Did not see that.
They were a new addition to it.
But in the interviews, sometimes they put
a moderator person.
Yeah, they put their moderators as guests.
I will say we did look into getting a Block Wars booth this year, but ultimately decided we didn't have quite the people to staff it for this one. But likely next year, there will be a little Block Wars booth too, if we can make it happen.
Ooh. Can I make like a really kind of funny, partially half joke suggestion?
Sure.
You're interested in? Have you ever heard of CubedCon?
No, I don't think so.
So it's a Minecraft convention inside Minecraft inside the game.
Oh wait, I have seen this one.
We had someone on the last year. They actually let you build booths and put them in the game. You should. I genuinely kind of half joke, but I feel like it could also be cool. You should genuinely build like a Block Wars booth. You should apply and build one just to have. You don't need anyone to manage it. You can just promote Block Wars, promote a tournament. And I feel like it'd be pretty funny to have.
That would be. I think I did see this a while ago, but I forgot about it.
Well, there you go. I think it returns like August.
September
something.
They haven't said what date yet. It looks like
it'll be like October or September, I believe. Same time as last year, give or take.
Yeah, I will look into it. I appreciate the suggestion.
No worries. While talking about Minecraft, then, what made you get into Minecraft? Anyways, what kind of hooked you on it?
Oh, that. So I'm older from the Minecraft space. Like I started at the beginning. I watched X's Adventures in Minecraft, which is like the first Let's Play that tons of people credit as what got them into it. I started in beta 1.8. So before we even were in the full release of the game, and it was just a game, and like the content of the time, the stuff that I was just like, it hit all the right spots for me of like, I get to do whatever I want. I like building. I like exploring. I like kind of just doing these things. And then it was only later and end of high school that I joined an SMP with some friends where I was like, oh, this is really fun to do. Like there was a PvP world as part of it. There was just like the regular world where you can, build homes and build towns with your friends. And I just loved the community aspect of it and being able to do those things. And those friends I played with, they're the ones who got me into League of Legends then, which I don't know if that's a great thing, but that's a different side of it. But then when I came back to it like years later, I was like, I still love building. Like if I was playing Minecraft by myself, I would just be building. That's all I'd be doing, because I don't sweat any of the PvP games. I will play Bed Wars with the gang back in the day. I'll play Island with friends, but like if it was just me, I would be building. And so I've loved the game since then, and I've played now a long time.
I was about to ask if you've ever played Island.
I played a lot of Island when the first public beta came out, and then I've not really been back on since, just because of time.
Yeah, of course. Is there any other games you're into apart from League?
So I'm not into League anymore, thank God. I stopped at the end of high school.
Well done.
Thank you. I'm clean for years now. My current other games are Gloomhaven, which is a board game, but there's also a digital version. I've been playing digital version. And then Wild Frost, which is a roguelike deck builder game, kind of like Slay the Spire. They're like more strategy games, and I like playing those when I'm by myself to just do some harder thinking than just shooting or hitting or whatever you do in other games.
Get the clogs turning.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say you are built better.
I don't know about that. That's just what I enjoy for my downtime.
That's fair. But yeah, I think that's the end of our questions, but not the end of questions overall, because up next is a segment we call Twitter questions.
Since you did such an amazing transition, I'll let you ask.
That is the first ever. I've realised that's the first ever time I've had to transition in Twitter questions. So
wait, do I always do it?
Yeah, you always do it.
Oh.
I was just panicking the entire time.
Well, there you are. Right, go on then. Ask the first one.
Okay.
You ruined it.
God damn it! I've ruined the transition already.
No.
I think this is a good one from Cuba Babylon, which you've sort of touched on already with the Lego Masters type idea. But what do you have in mind for the future?
It's such a broad question too. It's such a good one. It's the things I have in mind the most are kind of having these projects, the current ones, KST, Block Wars, and also the soon-to-be building one that I won't get the name for, is having them be sustainable enough that it can pay the staff team that works on them, so that they can exist as like true professional things that don't necessarily need a lot of support from me, and it can be like their own team doing it and being able to pay to do it, because I would love everyone to be compensated for how much work they've put into all of these projects, because it is a lot of time.
Oh, that's a nice answer. Sweet. You went down the sweet route. Oh, look at that.
I don't even necessarily mean it as like, they deserve to be compensated for how much work they have done in all of the things. What I view that as my role, is try to facilitate to make that happen now.
Well, I feel the same. Like, sorry, I've talked about Mayhem so much. I do this thing where I talk about myself to try relate, and the only thing I have is player managing for Mayhem.
Yep.
And like, although all I do is player management, I'd love to like kind of help Mayhem get to a point, or in one way or another, where they can like start kind of paying the devs a little bit or showing them. And even with the podcast, I would really want to earn more from it, or make it something to where I can, kind of start paying people a little better, or paying them from the YouTube income and then keeping my work income. There's like that kind of idea. So goals to support other people, which I think is really sweet. Next one then comes from Ghosty Fruit. Who's your favorite employee? I'm not reading the rest. Just all they get.
I saw what Ghosty said. It is of course Gillen. The joke. This is an inside joke that's gone on since Gillen joined the team soon after, where I said Gillen's my favorite, and I've never changed since. I never made it as like a joke, like now you're my favorite, Tay. Now you're my favorite. It's always been Gillen, and it's funnier that it stays this way.
Good. That's a good answer. And it's loyal. You're loyal.
This one comes from Uncertain Pine, and I'm sure we're gonna shift it into another question. Can I buy the MC event podcast? Put a price tag on it. Could you literally put a price tag on any of the things that you do?
Oh God.
They didn't ask that second. That second part comes from AJ. They're not getting the credit.
Yeah.
Now, a good question, AJ. I want you to say the credit.
I could put a price on that podcast. I don't know what they're getting by buying it. Do they get me and Gillen? I don't know what they got.
Now I'm curious. What would the price tag be?
It would not be a lot, but it would not be like a lot, but I don't know what they want out of that. They want the name. They can have the name. I'm not that attached to it. It'd just be bad for the SEO.
The channel, I guess. Let's just say they buy the channel. What's the price on that?
Beyond the show channel? I don't know. I feel like only like $1,000. It's not that deep.
But it's illegal to sell YouTube channels, so I mean, we're not going to advocate.
I'm not doing that. I don't know what price it has, but it's like not that much. Like that's not a channel that is a main priority. But
I think I don't know. Price tag for it, priceless.
In terms of the other events, I mean, I have had to put price tags on Block Wars in a sense of being like, oh, we want to run our own Block Wars. How much will that cost?
Yes.
Or we want to sponsor your event. How much does that cost? And those numbers are very difficult to figure out. Let me tell you. I will not share those numbers publicly. But if you're someone out there who has the disposable funds that would want to run a private Block Wars, you can reach out to me again on Twitter or message the Block Wars Twitter account, and we can chat about that. It would not be the most recent Block Wars, but it would be one of the Block Wars.
I am kind of curious, like how much like a sponsorship would be as well. Like obviously, I don't have anything to sponsor. I don't have the funds to sponsor. So I'm not asking you to answer it. I'm just saying, like, I guess it's always just you probably. I think a lot of people when they sit down and see a sponsorship has happened, you're probably just curious, like how much was that kind of thing. I guess it's just a human brain. So.
You want to know because like Chipotle, how much money did they spend on this?
Exactly. What? Yeah, like and it was run so well and like so much effort was put into it. So you're just like, well, how much how much effort was put into it compared to the thing. But obviously,
I'm spending my mortgage on.
Well, we don't dig for answers on podcasts, so that's all I'll say. Is the human brain works in mysterious ways. So. I guess the final one from me here is from Emily. Is from
we love Emily
and Tox. Tox's was more of a statement, but it's the same idea about feeding the testers.
Deep sigh. I say this.
I think they deserve it.
The testers should be fed. They should be patted on the head. The thing I'll say why this is kind of gives me a deep sigh is because there's been things that happen in testing that the testing managers go, Joey, we need your help to deal with this. And so I come in and deal with it. And I don't mean this in any negative way toward anybody in the testing scene, but I think it can be a time where people are very invested as a tester, and that's great. They want to help the event succeed. But as an event, we can't be super invested in every tester because there's a lot of other things that have to be done.
Yeah.
And so it is hard to manage expectations and ensure you're supporting testers and making sure you're getting feedback and getting sure they have the things they need to help you in the process, but also recognizing that they are one small piece of it in the grand scheme of things. But yes, your testers should be fed. You should respect the testers that do a lot of work. We've seen various events that don't have testers and where that leads to. So please don't have that happen.
I know one, but we don't say names on the podcast. So.
We don't say names. We don't name names.
Yeah, I guess that's it for me, AJ. I refuse to ask that other person's question until they followed the podcast because they replied to every tweet and never followed the account. So, I was
hey, call him out. I'll call him out. I'll call him out for you.
Do I read the question or not?
Read the question, then I can find it.
It's from, the question says, why are you the Simon Says GOAT? From a certain someone who replies to the question to every announcement, but doesn't follow.
Let me find him.
Heartbreaking.
Where are they?
They follow AJX.
Of course they do. I'm amazing.
Me.
Aaron is P cool.
Yes.
Follow this Twitter account. Please do it. Simon Says GOAT. That's a reference to the one event I actually played in, which was Frost Wars, which was pre Pandora's Box before the name change. And our team got crushed. The show team got crushed at the time, but we did well in Haunted Havoc, and I did personally well in the Gauntlet in the Simon Says game of beating Isaac or Colorbolt Isaac at the time. And it just became a meme because I popped off really hard as it was happening, and it was very entertaining where they in the PB community apparently they're like, he came in one event, beats them at their own game, then never comes back. And I went, I guess that's how it happens. It's just kind of funny as lore.
That's it from me, AJ, I think. And that's it from Twitter.
That's it from me, yes. Yeah.
Well, with that being said then, Joey, that sadly brings the end of this week's Midweek MC.
Well, it was a great time. Thank you for having me.
No worries. Before I do the outro here, I always like to give this opportunity for you to promote yourself. Where can people find you? Where can people find CapolloMedia? Obviously, within reason. Anything you want to promote, the floor's yours.
As I said, you can find me on Twitter and Discord at Joey Capollo. You can reach out about any event questions you might have. Don't ask me how to get into events, though, because I have very little power or say over that. Even KST, it's a team of people doing it now, not just me. Things to watch out for, just Block Wars and KST at the moment. You can also follow the CapolloMedia Twitter to see when a new project's going to be announced, because something is coming soon. And tune to TwitchCon, because there will be a lot of Block Wars TwitchCon content coming as well.
Oh, there we go.
W.
Well, thank you, AJ, for showing up as per usual. Absolutely amazing.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, it depends. I mean, this podcast is coming out on the day of recording, so it would have been announced by then. I think next week is just going to be me and you, AJ. For the first time in a very long time.
It is!
Whoa.
So that'll be fun. We're actually, funny enough, talking about TwitchCon.
Nice.
So
It's going to be a real exciting one.
Yeah, can't wait. Well, we're going to be talking about the before of TwitchCon, then we're going to do one afterwards of the aftermath of TwitchCon. So, but the before of TwitchCon is going to come out on the Wednesday after TwitchCon, and then the after TwitchCon is going to come out the week after that. And it's fine. People know the concept now. They know how the podcast works.
They get it.
And thank you, Joey, for showing up and taking time out of your day. I know you're
course.
quite busy, so I really appreciate you coming and talking to us today. And check out the Event Show podcast as well, in case
It'll come back probably at some point.
With that being said, that's been Midweek MC. Thank you all for listening. Stay safe. Don't eat too much bread. Pieces.
Bye.